Hey guys, welcome back to On the Middle Shelf. My name's Amanda, and today I'm going to share with you some of the books that I'm planning on reading for Historathon 4.0. Okay, so tomorrow starts Historathon 4.0. Historathon is a historical fiction readathon that I have been hosting for 4 years now, and this is what we're doing this year. I'm so excited. It's just a readathon to encourage people to read a little bit of historical fiction and just come together and get some really great recommendations. And there's a lot of fun to be had, and just coming together kind of as a community. So, this year for Historathon, my co-host, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, and Gloria from Gloria Z. Thompson, and I decided to do things a little bit differently. And this year we each picked 3 prompts. We didn't really talk about them a whole lot. They don't really relate to each other a whole lot, but we each individually pick 3 prompts. And you, as a participant, get to go through and pick 1 prompt or more, whatever you want to do, from each of the hosts. You don't have to do any of these prompts. You can do whatever you want. We're just trying to give a little bit of guidance and a little bit of fun to what we're going to be doing this month, which is reading historical fiction. So I'm going to share with you a book that I have picked out for every one of the prompts. So all 9 prompts. And this is kind of going to be my possibility pile, if you will, for the month. I do have some other things that I'm planning on reading in November as well. So this is just going to kind of be my stack that I choose from. And I'm really excited about this stack. A few things that I tried to do with this stack. So my plan of attack when I went into this is my friend Krista from Books and Jams had mentioned that she is trying to do NetGalley November. So she's trying to really up her NetGalley percentage and read books off of her NetGalley backlist in November. And I was like, I should try to do that too. That's a great idea. And so I went through NetGalley, and any of the historical fiction books that were on my NetGalley, especially the older ones, I tried to see if I could fit them into any of the prompts. And I did a few. I did 1, 2, 3 maybe of these are from NetGalley. Oh wait, no, 4, 5, 5 maybe, or whatever. I digress. A few of them are from NetGalley, and then I went through books that I just had saved on audio on Scribd that I knew I wanted to read, and went through that. I went through my own list. I went through my book exchange books. So my friends and I do a Christmas book exchange every year, and I have my all of my books on a book cart. And so I went through that cart to see, okay, what on here could I possibly get off of here? So I'm trying to read things off of different lists and groupings of books that I know I want to read through. And so these are the books that I've come up with. I own all of the books on my TBR except 2, and the 2 that I don't own are from NetGalley. So I am excited about this list. Let's get into it. And yeah, yay. So I'm going to go over my prompts first. So my first prompt that I have a book for here is to read a book with a color in the title. So the book that I'm going to be reading for a color in the title is Bluebird by Genevieve Graham. Now, I read Bluebird by Sharon Cameron last month and loved it. This Bluebird book by Genevieve Graham was Melissa from Libraries and Labradors, her favorite book of last year. And so I've been wanting to read this one for a while, and I am so excited to get into this. This is set in Canada, I believe. It has to do with World War I and a nurse and a soldier who met during World War I, and then they go back to Canada and they start running during Prohibition. And that's all I really know. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. That's going to be my book with a color in the title. The next prompt that I came up with was a book with 3 words in the title, and the book that I'm going to be reading for this is one of my NetGalley books, and that is The War Pianist by Mandy Robotham. And I've read Mandy Robotham before and really, really, really enjoyed her, so I'm excited to check this one out. This one has to do with a young lady that is in London during the Blitz, and her grandfather dies, and after he dies, she finds out that he had been a pianist or a radio operator. that's what they called radio operators during the war. And so she kind of takes on the mantle and becomes a radio operator, and then starts conversing with a young woman in a Dutch woman, so in the Netherlands, and they start talking back and forth. And so you're getting both of their stories through World War II. And so I thought that that would be a really good one. And so The War Pianist has 3 words in the title, so that's going to count for that. And then the other NetGalley book that I don't own is actually for my other prompt, which is a book with the word book in the title. And the book that I'm choosing for this is The Book of Everlasting Things by Anshul Malhotra. Don't know if I said that right. But this has to do with partition back in 1938 when India and Pakistan separated, and it has to do with a romance between a Hindu and a Muslim and them separating and how that affects them during partition in 1938. So I thought that that would be really, really interesting, and I'm excited to check that one out for that prompt. All right. On to Lindsay's prompts. So Lindsay's first prompt is a book by your favorite author. And I was looking through a bunch of my stuff and I'm like, I don't know, what should I pick? And I decided to go with a middle grade book. So one of my absolute favorite middle grade authors is Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. And I've read all of her recent stuff, but I have a couple of her super backlist books, and one of them is The President's Daughter. This is very short. I needed a shorter book on this list because I have a lot of doozies on here. But this is by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, and this has to do with Theodore Roosevelt's daughter. That's all I know. I'm not expecting it to be fantastic, but I'm expecting it to be good, and I'm excited to finally get that one checked off the list because I've owned that one for a while now. Okay, and then the next prompt from Lindsay is to read a book during your favorite time period to read about. And so I'm actually going to be picking up a book that she purchased for me for this prompt, and that is A Train to Moscow. So this is set post-World War II in Russia during the Red Scare and the Cold War and all of that, and that is definitely one of my favorite times to read about post-World War II stuff, and I think that this is going to be a really good one for that. And then her last prompt is recommended by a favorite, and this is another one that she recommended and she purchased for me, I believe, during last year's book exchange, Christmas book exchange, and that is Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. This has to do with a woman who is working in Alabama in 1973, and it has to do with sterilization of underprivileged colored or black people in 1973 in the South. And yeah, so I think this one's going to be heavy, but very, very interesting and a really good perspective. And I'm very excited to read this one. And that one was recommended by one of my favorites, Lindsay. So, okay. And then we're moving on to Gloria's prompts. Her first prompt is to read a book in a place that you would like to visit or one of your favorite places to vacation. And I decided to, I was like, which book did I pick for this out of the books that I had left? I decided for this one to go with From Sand and Ash by Amy Harmon, and this is set in Italy. So I would love to go to Italy. I think that would be amazing. Imagine the pasta. Oh, it'd be great. But this one is set during World War II in Italy, and it has to do with childhood friends. One is Catholic, one is Jewish, and one of them grows up to be a priest and ends up the male, and then the female is Jewish, and he ends up hiding her in a convent. And so it's kind of about their participation in that in Italy and during the World War II. So anyway, I'm going to try that one. The next prompt from Gloria is to read a 5-star prediction. And this is one that I have had for about a year and a half now. And it has really, really, really high ratings on Goodreads. And I've never heard anyone ever talk about it. And you guys know how much I love to read a book that nobody's ever heard about before. And so I'm going to be reading The Rainbow by Carly Shabowski. This has a stupid high rating on Goodreads. And it says that it is set London present day. Isla has grown up hearing about her beloved granddad's stories about his life as a child in pre-war Poland and as a young soldier bravely fighting the Germans to protect his people. So she is shocked and heartbroken to find, while collecting photos for his 95th birthday celebration, a picture of her dear grandfather wearing a Nazi uniform. So, unable to question him due to his advanced dementia, she wraps herself in her rainbow-colored scarf, a memento of his from the war, and begins to hunt for the truth behind the photograph. What she uncovers is more shocking than she could have ever anticipated, a tale of childhood sweethearts torn apart by family duty, and how one man risked his life, his love, and the respect of his own people to secretly fight for injustice from inside the heart of the enemy itself. That sounds so good. So that will be my 5-star prediction prompt. And then the last prompt from Gloria is to read a story based off of a true story, like someone real, or someone or something real. And so the one that I chose to do for this prompt is Booth by Karen Joy Fowler. And this is about John Wilkes Booth's family. So it's more about like his dad and his upbringing, more so than just John Wilkes Booth, I believe. But I have been wanting to read this for quite a while and haven't gotten around to it yet, but it is very floppy. I really like this edition of it. And so I am excited to pick this one up for the prompt of reading something about something true. So the last book that I'm planning on reading for Historathon is our group read, and that is Crow Mary by Kathleen Grissom. This could fit so many of my prompts, but I chose to pick something different. This is based off of a real story. This is set in Canada and Montana. It is by a favorite author. It could be a 5-star prediction. There are so many things here that I just think this is going to be a great read. But this is about Crow Mary, who was a Native woman, and she married a white fur trader in 1872. And then it's just kind of about what happens as a result of that. And it is, I think, takes place over the Canadian border, Montana and Canada both. Not entirely sure, but I'm really, really, really excited to read it. So those are all of the books that I am planning on reading for Historathon. Like I said, my kind of pile of possibilities, because I don't know as though I'll necessarily get to all of them, but I'm going to try to plan to get to as many as possible. I'm also going to be reading some nonfiction and some other things as well. So this isn't going to be all of my reading for the month, but it'll get me off to a good start. And I am so excited to hear what all of you guys are going to be reading for Historathon as well. So leave some comments down below. Let me know, one, if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts are about them, but also what you're planning on reading for Historathon. Are you going to be joining us for our group discussion of Crow Mary on Lindsay's channel at the end of the month? I will put all of that information in the description box down below. And that's going to do it for today. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.